Grammar in the Classroom. According to the 1969 edition of the Encyclopedia of Educational Research, it is argues that no moral exists between knowledge of grammar or the application of the knowledge in the functional law situation that exists between any two totally different and unrelated school subjects. In other words, knowledge of formal grammar rules has no relation whatsoever. To actually being able to write well, they are as traditional as history and chemistry. Except that is the case only the grammar continues to be. Child, it's in most classrooms today. In fact, grammar instruction is required by the Common Core State uh, standards initiative an educational program designed by the United States government. The federal government clearly believes that it is necessary for grammar to be taught in school, but this formal grammar instruction truly beneficial for students. According to the 2010 Common Core State curriculum standards, in order to be prepared for both college and career, students must gain control over many combinations of state or English grammar usage and mechanisms. The Common Core plainly states that constructor must teach grammar in order to equip students for life after high school. The assumption that proper the common course in systems or grammar instruction are the ones most often serious when explaining the importance of learning grammar. Many believe that employers are less likely to hire someone who does not use grammar well. Indeed, employers as well as professors, customer clients, jurists, so consumers, love interest, and every random strange of the internet. Use people based of their use or misuse of grammar. This is reason enough for teachers to make grammar a key part of their curriculum. After all, if teachers are not preparing students to be successful outside of high school, what are they actually trying to accomplish? However, learning grammar does more than help students some professionally. It also gives them a more advanced way of communicating their thoughts. In its broader sense, grammar is the structural rules by which language is organized. All people who communicate with any sort of language use grammar, where whether or not they follow or are even aware of its formal rules, but while ignorance of the recurrent rules of grammar does not prevent communication, it certainly might limit it. The exercise with grammar allow for more complicated sentences and a wide variety of tones test sentences. Understanding the rules of grammar therefore gives rise a wide variety of linguistic choice, more unclear way to convey their thoughts. Effective grammar instruction does not only help students reach a more professional audience, but it also broadens their communication skills. What it makes for effective grammar construction? Grammar has traditionally been taught as this the unit of learning. Students are taught grammar as an individual topic, almost as if it is wholly unrelated to reading itself. Well, of research suggests that traditional grammar instruction taking that emphasis drilling on the rote memorization that's later to improve students' composition skills. In fact, according to Professor Debra Mihiel, there is not a substantial empirical evidence base demonstrating the beneficial impact of grammar on writing. It is hard to imagine why teaching children about nouns or subordinate clauses person might be matched by a corresponding improvement in their writing. On the contrary, some education experts argue that his kind of teaching may actually cause an increase in students' grading errors. In that there is insufficient evidence to suggest that grammar has not formed place in the curriculum. That is, grammar should not be a separate learning until taught in isolation from reading itself. His encyclopedia of educational research agrees there is little relation between knowledge of grammar and its application. Perhaps students should not be taught knowledge and application of as two disparate entities. Grammar should not be taught as it in a complicated by an arbitrary set of rules, but it as something students already know how to do. But word to learn in a way that means something to someone else. Learning proper grammar is not only a way for a student to enter into the world of not only college and career but also to achieve more dynamic self-expression. It is important for students to learn grammar. It is therefore double important for teachers to learn effective and engaging ways of teaching it. According to the passage, the Common Core requires grammar instruction because b. Knowledge of grammar will prepare students for the world they will encounter after graduation from high school. In paragraph 4, the author uses a quote from Professor Dibram Maharis in order to be support the idea that traditional grammar instruction is ineffectual. In passage, the author makes each of the following claims about grammar except see students cannot fully understand grammar until they have become proficient writers. As you define a program, the best antonym for disparate is connected. The main purpose of this passage is to reinforce the idea that grammar is important and argue that traditional grammar instruction is ineffectual.